One day, Shizuka is busy typing away on her laptop. Akira, an invisible man, takes a seat beside her. He is surprised when Shizuka acknowledges him, even though she is blind. Akira is confused by how easily she can tell where he is. Shizuka explains that she knows he is there because of his scent. Hearing this, Akira immediately starts sniffing himself, worried that he might smell bad. Shizuka panics and quickly explains that she didn't mean it in a negative way. She tells him that because she is blind, her other senses are much sharper than most people's. Akira is relieved, and for some reason the idea that he has his own distinct scent comforts him. Wanting to confirm something, he decides to test her. He turns himself completely invisible and asks Shizuka to try to find him. Shizuka listens closely and is able to pick up the sound of his footsteps. Slowly, she reaches out and grabs a part of his clothes, telling him that he is standing right next to her. Akira makes his clothes visible again, impressed with Shizuka. He tells Shizuka that he believes she is the only person who can find him, and the realization makes his heart race. Seeing her confusion, Akira decides to be more direct and asks her out to dinner. After the workday ends, the two prepare to leave together. Akira asks Shizuka if there is anywhere she would like to go. Shizuka struggles to answer, explaining that she hardly eats out because of her blindness. Instead, she tells Akira that she is fine with any restaurant he chooses. Akira remembers a restaurant, then asks Shizuka to grab his arm so he can lead her. Taking his arm, they walk through the streets. She notices that the way Akira walks feels different from usual. She begins to worry that Akira doesn't actually know where to take her and quickly assumes that she is the reason for his unease. Suddenly, Akira stops and asks if she smells something that seems appetizing. Shizuka takes a careful breath and points in the direction of a nearby restaurant, the same place Akira hopes to take her. He thanks her for helping him decide, and the two enter the restaurant together. Akira orders a large spread, explaining that he simply asked for the recommendations. Both of them smile since the dinner feels like an adventure, as neither of them has eaten there before. Shizuka takes a bite of one of the vegetables and admits that the flavor seems strange. Akira explains that she has eaten coriander. Hearing this, Shizuka giggles to herself and admits that this is also her first time eating out with a co-worker. Shizuka suddenly starts to think that Akira's intentions might be more romantic and friendly. Before she can dwell on it for too long, Akira encourages her to try another dish and places food onto her plate. He notices that she becomes a little stiff, and Shizuka admits that it is actually her first time dining with a man. She muses that this outing feels like a date. Akira immediately confirms that he intends it to be. The confirmation makes Shizuka nervous, and sensing her unease, Akira gently guides her hand to his chest so she can hear his heart pounding. Realizing that she isn't the only one feeling nervous, Shizuka is comforted and loudly announces it, unintentionally drawing the attention of the entire restaurant. After they finish eating, Shizuka's earlier nerves return. She pinches a part of Akira's clothing to keep close. Akira suggests that she should just hold on to him properly. His words make Shizuka panic, and she quickly comes up with several excuses while repeatedly insisting that she isn't opposed to holding him. Though he is invisible, Akira grins to himself, finding her reaction endearing. Shizuka notices the change in his voice and scolds him for teasing her. Akira responds honestly, telling her that he wants Shizuka to always be aware of how he feels. He even admits that he feels like skipping at the moment and playfully invites her to skip with him. This causes Shizuka to blush furiously, and Akira decides not to push her any further. Instead, he gently guides her hand to hold onto his arm properly and escorts her home. Once inside her apartment, Shizuka heads to her room to settle in for the evening. As soon as she lies down on her bed, she squeals in delight, overwhelmed by how well things are going between her and Akira. The next day at the office, Shizuka finds herself constantly thinking about Akira. She can't help but admire him, noting how soothing his voice is and how elegant his movements always sound. Realizing she's getting distracted, she shakes her hands to clear her thoughts, but she's left wondering what Akira thinks of her. Shizuka thinks back to Akira's words from the night before and wonders what they could mean. So she decides to ask him something that has been bothering her. She asks Akira if he wishes to be seen by her. After a moment, Akira answers that he's fine remaining invisible, before turning the question back to her and asking if she would like to see him. Without any hesitation, Shizuka replies that she can tell Akira is a good person, and that is enough for her. Akira is pleased by her answer, while Shizuka feels comforted knowing that he doesn't actually need her to see him physically. The next day, as Shizuka walks toward the detective agency, her cane accidentally gets caught on a bicycle, and she trips. She is quickly caught by Luna, a beast woman who immediately realizes that it is her bike that caused Shizuka to fall. At the office, Shizuka is busy entertaining potential clients over the phone. While moving to retrieve something, she accidentally bumps into Daichi. Daichi calmly tells her to take 5 steps back. Once she reaches the distance, he tells her that she can move forward again and informs her that he has made coffee for her, which he placed beside her computer. Later during work, Shizuka curiously asks Luna and Daichi if there is something strange about her appearance. Luna immediately teases her, suggesting that she might be trying to impress someone. She reassures Shizuka that she looks great and adds that she is always free to talk about romance with her. As Luna continues teasing, Daichi finds their conversation irritating, prompting Luna to grit her teeth at him. At that moment, Akira enters the office. He approaches Shizuka and politely asks if it is okay for him to touch her hair. The request surprises Shizuka, briefly reminding her of how her parents used to pat her head. Just as Akira starts to withdraw his request, Shizuka nervously gives him permission. She is surprised when all he does is remove a cherry blossom caught in her hair. Watching the interaction, Luna immediately begins to piece together who Shizuka might be interested in. Shizuka senses the realization forming in Luna's mind and quickly insists that Akira needs to prepare for his consultations. The office opens for consultations, welcoming people who want various matters investigated. Among them is a group of aliens searching for their missing daughter. The problem quickly becomes apparent when all of the aliens look exactly the same, and even the photo of their missing daughter makes it difficult to tell any of them apart. After the aliens leave the office, the team discusses how to approach the case. Daichi, clearly bored, suggests that they simply need to look for someone who looks identical to the aliens. Later in the day, Akira begins his investigation for the first case. Akira keeps his distance as he observes the man. At one point, he nearly gives himself away by accidentally bumping into someone. When his subject turns toward the sound, Akira quickly makes himself completely invisible. Once the man resumes walking, Akira notes how convenient his invisibility is for detective work. However, a young boy suddenly crashes into him. Akira quickly replaces the boy's ice cream cone, acknowledging that invisibility has its downsides. Meanwhile, back at the office, Shizuka listens to something on her phone. Luna notices her smiling to herself and asks what she is listening to. Shizuka explains that she is listening to an audiobook. Curious, Luna listens alone for a moment. Shizuka excitedly explains the romantic buildup between the characters. Luna admits that Shizuka is impressive since she is having trouble keeping up with the plot. Shizuka responds that she has been a keen listener. Shizuka is surprised that a beast person like Luna does not rely much on her enhanced senses. Luna admits that using her senses is not her strong point, even recalling that she sometimes cannot tell when Akira is in the room. Still, Luna confidently claims that she would be able to use her senses properly if she focused, proudly stating that she could take anyone down. Shizuka then asks if she can borrow Luna's eyes, explaining that she cannot read the price on a receipt she needs to file. Luna reads the price easily and casually admits that she made the expense herself after seeing a store selling tasty snacks while guarding a client. Shizuka politely asks Luna to avoid spending company funds on snacks. Luna assumes this is because the snacks she bought cannot be eaten by humans. As Shizuka tries to clarify, Luna suddenly realizes she needs to leave and hurriedly exits the office. Shizuka checks the time and notices that it is already late and Akira still has not returned. A little later, Shizuka notices that Akira has returned and greets him, but the others insist that he's not there. Daichi suddenly notices blood on the floor and immediately assumes that it belongs to Shizuka. This causes Luna to panic and inspect Shizuka. Once everyone calms down, Shizuka enters the meeting room carrying a first aid kit. She hesitantly asks if Akira needs it. Akira then makes his clothes visible, revealing bloodstains on the fabric around his arm. He explains that he was injured while reporting the infidelity case. Akira shares that he met the couple at a restaurant where he showed them photos of the husband going out with another woman. The wife became furious and the couple soon began shouting at each other. Akira tried to calm them down, but the wife swiped at him, leaving deep scratches on his arm. He explains that seeing him bleed shocked the couple enough to stop the argument. Even Akira finds it strange that his blood becomes visible the moment it leaves his body. Shizuka immediately asks how bad his injury is. Akira admits that it is difficult to tell since he himself is invisible. Hearing this, Shizuka begins to tremble at the thought that Akira could die from blood loss. Akira quickly reassures her, telling her that the bleeding is not that severe. Akira allows her to hold the gauze in place while he tapes it down himself. As they tend to the wound, Akira comments on how strange it feels to have Shizuka worry about him. He describes the sensation as feeling pleasant and ticklish. Shizuka takes his words literally and assumes that she must be pressing the gauze incorrectly. Akira explains that he is naturally ticklish, but quickly stops her when she shows interest in trying to tickle him on purpose. When they leave the meeting room, they realize that everyone else has already gone home. Akira mentions that he plans to work overtime, which immediately makes Shizuka worry. She suggests staying as well so she can place orders for supplies the office needs. That way, they can take a break together once she finishes. Suddenly, Akira suggests that they take a break right away. He prepares and serves Shizuka a new blend of tea. When Shizuka tells him how much she enjoys it, Akira sits beside her, clearly pleased that she likes what he made. As Shizuka slowly sips her tea, she begins to wonder if her dinner with Akira was just a one-time thing. The thought makes her feel sad, but she soon realizes that she could also be the one to ask him out. At first, she thinks it is a bad idea, but she quickly convinces herself that she needs to be brave. Just as Akira is about to ask her something, Shizuka suddenly blurts out an invitation to dinner. Akira chuckles softly and tells her that after dinner, they should make a reservation for another date, since he wants to take her out for tea next time. Shizuka hurriedly agrees, and Akira reminds her that they still need to decide on a date first. On their date, Akira takes Shizuka to a specialty tea shop. Once they settle into their seats, they are presented with a wide variety of tea leaves. Shizuka asks what kind of tea Akira likes. He answers that he usually chooses teas based on their effects. Shizuka tells him that she really liked the tea he brewed for her. Before Akira can respond, Karma suddenly chimes in that he was actually the one who made that blend. Karma immediately explains how Akira came into the shop looking for tea that would make his girlfriend happy. Assuming that Shizuka is the girlfriend in question, Karma starts bombarding them with questions. Akira quickly explains that they are not dating yet. Hearing this, Karma suddenly blushes and continues asking even more personal questions, but Light promptly drags him away. Akira apologizes for what just happened. Shizuka brushes it off and instead asks Akira to make a tea blend for her while she prepares one for him as well. A little while later, Light collects their chosen tea leaves to brew them. As they wait, Shizuka asks if Akira chose this tea shop for her sake. She immediately realizes that the question sounds self-centered and quickly apologizes. Shizuka admits that she has a habit of trying to read people's motives. Akira reassures her, saying that it is actually a good trait for a detective's assistant. The praise makes Shizuka nervous and she begins to stammer about how her blindness limits what she can do. She says that she cannot tell what people look like unless she is able to touch them. This prompts Akira to offer one of his hands to her. She notices that his fingers are thin and that his nails are neatly trimmed. Akira admits that he has trouble cutting them because he is invisible. Shizuka brightens at his comment and shares that she has the same struggle. Akira gently holds Shizuka's hand in his and compliments how nice her nails are. Light soon returns with their tea, and both of them are immediately delighted by its aroma. Another day at the detective agency, Shizuka asks Luna to describe how Akira usually dresses. Luna struggles to explain and eventually settles on saying that he wears suits that look like something an English gentleman would wear. Shizuka imagines it to be very cool, and Luna agrees, adding that it's the kind of outfit a spy would wear. Daichi quickly corrects her, saying that spies only dress like that in movies. Shizuka admits that she plans to buy clothes for herself soon and thought that knowing how Akira dresses might help. Luna asks if Shizuka is trying to copy Akira's style. Daichi bluntly states that it's obviously for Shizuka's date with Akira. Luna gets defensive and starts strangling him. Shizuka shyly admits that it is for a date with Akira. Luna instantly brightens and Shizuka grows even shyer. Shizuka explains that she wants to wear something special for the date to mark the occasion. Luna hugs Shizuka and promises to go shopping with her. Daichi reminds Luna to actually think about Shizuka when choosing clothes. Later, at a clothing store, Shizuka tries on several outfits. Luna finds all of them attractive and excitedly urges her to try more. Shizuka asks Luna to slow down, explaining that she wants time to figure out how the piece she's holding looks. Using her phone, Shizuka scans the clothes, and it tells her that the piece is light blue. Luna notices the troubled look on Shizuka's face and offers to describe it to her instead. The two take a seat and Luna begins describing the sweater. Luna suddenly apologizes for being inconsiderate towards Shizuka earlier. The apology catches Shizuka off guard as she wonders if what Daichi said earlier is still bothering Luna. Luna admits that she has recently started noticing how inconsiderate she can be. She brings up how she parked her bike on the wrong side of the road, which caused Shizuka to fall. Hearing this, Shizuka asks if Luna might have eaten something off the ground. Luna freezes for a moment before realizing that Shizuka is deliberately making light of the situation to make her feel better. Feeling relieved, Luna tells Shizuka that she will treat her to some food later. Back at the office, Akira tries to ask Daichi for restaurant recommendations. Daichi shows little interest in holding a conversation with him. Eventually, Akira returns to his work. When he opens his laptop, he notices a message from Daichi. Opening it, Akira finds several links to different restaurants. Akira peeks out of his office and mentions that he's grinning. Later, at the detective agency, Karma and Light arrive for a consultation. The two properly introduce themselves as a married pair of elves before moving into the consultation room. There, they explain that they have been dealing with strange, white-hooded figures recently. Light elaborates, saying that their stalkers often park their car in front of their shop and have bothered people on the street. She also mentions that the stalkers are taking photos of them. Karma blushes at the idea of having stalkers, but Light looks troubled as she adds that the stalkers are following them. Karma quickly interrupts, insisting that their stalkers did not follow them to the agency. Akira reassures the couple that they will deal with the situation as soon as possible. After some time, Daichi manages to track down the stalker's car using a tracking beacon Luna had attached to it. The signal reveals that the vehicle is located inside the grounds of a pharmaceutical company called White. Luna has also taken several photos, which Daichi pulls up for Akira to examine. They notice that while the stalkers are always wearing the same outfits, the people are never the same. The agency quickly realizes that this is no longer a simple stalking case. Suddenly, Luna calls the office in a panic, urgently informing them that two suspicious cars have just parked in front of the tea shop. She has already managed to get Karma and Light out through the shop's back exit. Daichi and Akira decide to head out immediately to support Luna during their escape, leaving Shizuka behind. After some time, the agency receives a visitor. Shizuka goes to greet him, unaware that he is one of the white-hooded figures, a man named Twin. Just as Twin is about to approach her, Akira suddenly restrains him. Twin removes his hood and reveals that he is an elf and Light's father. Once things calm down, Twin explains the situation. Akira realizes that Twin's real intention was simply to check on Light, who had eloped with Karma. Light angrily scolds her father for stalking them and involving the entire clan. Twin attempts to explain that everyone was worried and that they tried to resolve the misunderstanding. Karma takes the opportunity to tease Twin, which only irritates him further. The two openly begin insulting each other. Watching the exchange, the members of the detective agency quietly wonder if the case is closed. Later that evening, the team gathers at the office to celebrate the day's work with food and drinks. Daichi dryly remarks that he would have preferred to go straight home. Luna immediately criticizes his poor personality, commenting that he won't get many girls. Maintaining his bored tone, Daichi responds that he already has a partner waiting for him at home. This revelation surprises everyone, since Daichi is the last person they expect to be in a relationship. Luna notices that Shizuka is not drinking any alcohol and insists that Shizuka drink whatever she wants, promising that she will be the one to take her home afterward. Trusting Luna, Shizuka decides to drink a little after all. However, once the party ends, Luna ends up passed out drunk on the couch. Shizuka begins to worry, but Akira approaches her and explains that he has already booked a taxi for her and that he will go to make sure she arrives safely. Inside the taxi, Shizuka starts to panic as she thinks about what to do once they arrive. She briefly wonders if she should invite Akira inside. Her thoughts are interrupted when Akira suddenly invites her out to eat again soon. He explains that it is a dark restaurant where diners eat in complete darkness. Akira shares that he hopes the experience will help him better understand Shizuka's world. Touched by his thoughtfulness, Shizuka agrees to go. They eventually arrive at her apartment and Shizuka thanks Akira for seeing her home. As Akira turns to leave, Shizuka suddenly invites him in for tea. Akira declines, explaining that he left the taxi running downstairs, but reassures her that next time he would gladly stay for a drink. After he leaves, Shizuka makes a mental note to have someone check how her room looks. On the day of their date, the two meet at the venue. Akira immediately notices that Shizuka is dressed more elegantly than usual. Sensing her nervousness, he tries to ease the tension by telling her that she will be his escort for the evening. Once they take their seats, Shizuka asks if it is truly as dark inside. Akira replies that there is actually a small candle on the table, allowing him to see. Soon after, an owlfolk announces that the diners will experience true darkness and all the candles are extinguished. Shizuka asks again if it is really dark this time, and Akira confirms that the room is now completely black. Shizuka smiles widely and eagerly welcomes Akira into her world. Shizuka gently tells him to feel around the table so he can understand where everything is. When the first dish is served, Shizuka easily takes a bite and enjoys the flavor. She asks Akira how he is enjoying his food, but he excuses himself, claiming that he needs to use the restroom. As soon as he reaches it, Akira lets out a shaky breath, confused by his own reaction to the darkness. After washing his face, he heads back out, only to find Shizuka waiting for him in a lit area. Shizuka gently suggests that they leave for the evening. Akira gratefully accepts her offer. As they walk out, he apologizes for wasting the night, but Shizuka quickly reassures him that it is fine. She proudly shows him a plastic bag, revealing that she asked the staff to pack the rest of their food to go. While walking, Akira asks if they can eat the meal at his place instead. Shizuka agrees without thinking much of it, but suddenly becomes nervous. By the time they arrive at his apartment, Shizuka is so anxious that she can only respond with single-word answers as Akira serves the food. Once they settle, Akira apologizes again and admits that he is afraid of the dark. He explains that his fear began back in elementary school, during a test of courage he had to take with his classmates. He lost sight of the partner who was holding the light. With the moon hidden behind clouds, he could no longer see anything. He tripped and got hurt, deciding to stay where he was and wait for someone to find him. but no one came looking for him. Eventually, he tried to make his way back to the lodge. Though he managed to return, he was deeply hurt by the fact that neither his classmates nor the teachers had even noticed he was missing. Akira admits that he never realized he was afraid of the dark until their dinner, since the city is always brightly lit. Hearing this, Shizuka suddenly surprises him by declaring that she will always notice him. She explains that through his voice and his actions, she can always tell when he feels uneasy. Shizuka promises that she will always find him in the darkness, adding that she would feel lonely without him. Overwhelmed by emotion, Akira asks if they can start dating. The question earns him a small squeak from Shizuka. She hurriedly reassures him that she is not against dating, but admits that she is worried about what might happen after dinner. Understanding her concern, Akira reassures her that he has no intention of going too far tonight. Seeing how overwhelmed she is, Akira gently holds her by the waist, causing Shizuka to squeak again. He holds her close and tells her that he loves her. Shizuka remains frozen in place, still trying to process everything. At the office, Shizuka welcomes Akira back. She resumes her usual duties, but finds herself unable to concentrate, her thoughts drifting toward wanting more romantic moments with him. It has only been a week since they started dating, yet Shizuka already feels embarrassed whenever she thinks about it. Although they agree to keep their private lives separate from work, she is having a hard time doing so. Feeling that Akira works flawlessly as always, Shizuka decides to work diligently as well, hoping to keep herself from thinking about him. However, when Akira approaches her, she accidentally greets him in an overly casual tone. Akira apologizes, explaining that he wants to set aside their promise for now. As Shizuka struggles to process his words, she is suddenly pulled into his embrace. She melts into him, flustered, realizing that Akira has completely undone her attempts to steal her heart. When they pull away, Shizuka pouts and starts tickling him, insisting that he deserves punishment for breaking their promise. Outside, Daichi overhears them and wonders whether or not he should step into the office. After work, Akira offers to take Shizuka home. She agrees, realizing that this is the perfect opportunity to invite him into her home. Just before Akira calls for a taxi, Shizuka suggests that they walk instead. At the train station, Shizuka lightly bounces in place, giddy at the thought of inviting Akira over. She is just about to ask him when Akira cuts her off, telling her that the train is arriving. Inside the train, they stand very close to each other. Shizuka's face reddens as she thinks about sharing a cup of tea with Akira. She had made sure everything was perfectly clean by enlisting her mother's help 3 days earlier. Her feelings are written clearly on her face, prompting Akira to pull her into a gentle hug. He quietly asks if she is going to try inviting him over again. Shizuka stutters that she will make him tea. By the time they arrive at her home, she manages to calm herself down. As she lets him inside, Akira offers to help brew the tea, but Shizuka refuses, wanting to serve him properly as her guest. Akira watches as she prepares everything. While doing so, Shizuka admits that she recently cleaned up, but also confesses that she tends to accidentally drop things. Just as Shizuka tells him this, Akira notices a piece of clothing on the floor and immediately panics at the sight. He shakily takes his seat, deciding it is better to pretend he did not notice it at all. Shizuka finishes preparing his cup of tea and walks over to serve him. As Akira accepts the cup from her, Shizuka's foot lightly brushes against the cloth on the floor. Akira freezes, wondering what the best course of action is. He does not want to embarrass Shizuka, but leaving it there where someone else might notice later feels even worse. Shizuka finally senses something unusual beneath her foot and picks it up. Feeling it with her hands, she slowly realizes what it is. Akira quickly cuts in, suggesting that it looks like a handkerchief. Shizuka immediately agrees with him. Once the awkward moment passes, they settle down and eat muffins together. Akira carefully turns the food invisible inside his mouth before chewing. He explains to Shizuka that he usually does this so others do not have to see him chew. Shizuka does not judge him for it. From her perspective, if he chewed while the food was visible, it would look as though he were chewing with his mouth open. When Akira admits that he envies people who can eat quickly, Shizuka tells him to eat however he likes. She reassures him that she would not be able to see him chewing anyway. Almost immediately, Shizuka realizes she probably should have said something more romantic. Even so, Akira attempts to eat faster, though he feels awkward doing so. When it is time for Akira to leave, Shizuka feels relieved that he believed the clothing on the floor was only a handkerchief. She is pulled out of her thoughts when Akira suddenly suggests that they start calling each other by their first names. Shizuka blushes at the idea as Akira softly calls her name. He remarks that she looks adorable and admits that he has been thinking about kissing her, which earns him an immediate squeak. Akira then explains that normal couples usually rely on visual cues to know when it is okay to kiss, something that is difficult for them. Shizuka begins to wonder if there might be a way for them to create their own cue. The fact that she is thinking about it makes Akira ask if it is okay to kiss her. Without waiting for her response, he lightly taps her forehead to mimic a kiss. Shizuka can tell it's a tap. One day at the office, the entire team is present and Akira bustles around sounding more energetic than usual. Shizuka is the first to notice and wonders if something good has happened. Akira brightens when she points it out and proudly explains that he bought a new suit and is wearing it today. He puffs out his front slightly to show it off and asks the others if it looks good on him. Luna bluntly states that since he is invisible, it is hard to tell. Akira fumbles a little at her comment and Shizuka hears the hurt in his voice. She wants to say something kind to cheer him up, but realizes she cannot, since she cannot even see the clothes herself. Daichi suddenly speaks up, telling Akira that he thinks the suit matches his vibe really well. Luna then adds that it does seem to fit him nicely. Hearing this, Akira immediately becomes enthusiastic again. Shizuka listens to the conversation from a distance, feeling slightly left out because she cannot take part in it. Noticing this, Akira approaches her and tells her that his suit feels nice. He gently guides her hands so she can feel the fabric for herself. With the same excitement, Akira continues talking about the suit to her, making Shizuka giggle as his enthusiasm reminds her of a child. Through this, she learns that Akira is actually fond of clothes, since they are the only way he can make himself seeable to others. Luna then asks how invisible people are able to turn even their clothes invisible. Akira explains that they release a substance that allows their clothes to turn invisible along with them. Shizuka asks if her hands would disappear if they held hands. Akira suddenly takes her hand, catching her off guard, and explains that it would not, since his ability only works on non-living things. Luna comments that being invisible must come with many benefits, but Akira replies that there are many rules placed on them, and they are not allowed to be fully invisible in public. However, he has a special license to do so because of his job. He then begins to enumerate the problems that come with being completely invisible. One day, Light welcomes Shizuka into the tea shop. This time, Shizuka brings her mother along. Shizuka's mother expresses her excitement about making her own blend. Light wonders to herself if Shizuka has told her mother about her relationship with Akira. On one of her visits to the office, Shizuka shyly admitted that she was dating Akira, and her bashful expression even had karma falling for her. Given how shy Shizuka is, Light assumes that she probably has not told her mother, so she decides to stay quiet. However, the moment Karma sees Shizuka, he immediately asks if Shizuka and Akira are already married. Light tries to quiet him down, but Shizuka's mother chuckles at the idea of Shizuka getting married. They soon begin an easy conversation about Akira, and Light starts to wonder if she was wrong in assuming Shizuka had not told her mother anything. However, Shizuka's mother actually has no idea that Shizuka has a boyfriend and casually asks to meet him someday. At the office, Shizuka and Akira struggle to use each other's last names. Daichi and Luna notice this and begin grumbling among themselves about how obvious their relationship is, insisting that they should just call each other by their first names in the office. Luna complains to Daichi that Shizuka has been dodging her questions, but the way she acts around Akira makes everything obvious. Daichi realizes that Luna is right and he grows annoyed as well. He calls out to Akira and Shizuka and bluntly tells them that they are being obvious and should just go ahead and call each other by their names. Luna immediately starts shaking Daichi for his lack of tact. Shizuka and Akira freeze in place, unsure how to respond to the situation. Before things can escalate further, they receive a visit from Kosuke, who has a case for Akira. They head into the meeting room, where Kosuke explains that he needs help with a case he is currently handling. He promises to return another time with his client so Akira can hear the details directly from them. Before Kosuke leaves, he makes sure to compliment Akira's suit, especially its color. Akira is pleased to learn that Kosuke shares his enthusiasm for clothing, but acknowledges how restrictive lawyers are when it comes to suit styles and colors. Akira suggests that Kosuke buy a suit with square pockets to change up his usual style. This makes Kosuke giddy as he begins considering the idea. Akira watches him smile, thinking about how cheerful a person Kosuke naturally is. Kosuke bids farewell to the rest of the team, informing them that he left some snacks with Akira. He apologizes for not getting the animal snacks for Luna, but promises to bring some next time. Daichi firmly tells him not to, then reminds him to take care on his way home. Kosuke smiles and thanks Akira for always taking care of them. When Akira thanks him as well and mentions that Kosuke's firm is a valued partner, Kosuke gives him a strange smile. Later, during dinner, Kosuke complains that Daichi has not told the agency that they are dating. While Daichi does not see the point, Kosuke argues that the agency needs to know who to contact in case Daichi ever gets hurt. Seeing that Kosuke will not stop pestering him, Daichi promises to reveal him as his partner when Kosuke visits the office next week. Just as promised, Daichi bluntly tells the agency that Kosuke is his partner. Kosuke smiles brightly and hands Luna a bag of snacks. When Luna asks about their relationship, Kosuke begins sharing a story about a certain trip in the mountains, but Daichi cuts him off before he can say too much. One day, Shizuka is unable to go to work due to a fever and a cold. Akira calls her and offers to drop by. At first, she is hesitant. but then she quietly admits that she would actually like Akira to visit her. After ending the call, Shizuka blushes at how spoiled she sounds. She then remembers that her mother is around doing housework. She calls out for her. When she does not get a response, she wonders if her mother has already gone home. She does not realize that her mother is actually out on the balcony. Just then, Akira arrives at the door and Shizuka goes to welcome him. When he enters, he reassures her that he cannot catch a cold and that he has come to make her a warm meal. He immediately gets to work, and before long he is in her room, serving her a steaming bowl of porridge. Shizuka admits that she cannot smell it, which is understandable given her clogged nose. When Akira offers her the spoon, Shizuka shyly asks if he can feed her instead. She immediately tries to take it back, realizing how embarrassing the request is, but Akira indulges her and even offers to blow on the food. She quickly insists that he does not have to, but the sound she makes alerts her mother. As Akira feeds her, he notices a bit of fruit on her chin. He kneels on the bed so he can reach her more easily and gently wipes it away. At that moment, Shizuka's mother walks in. She apologizes for interrupting and introduces herself as Shizuka's mother. Shizuka's face turns bright red as her mother awkwardly explains that she was trying to stay out of the way so she would not disturb them, and says she will leave them alone so they are free to do whatever they want. As agreed, Kosuke brings his client for a case he wants Akira's help with. The agency is shocked when his client, Aya, walks in because she is invisible like Akira. Luna makes a crude remark which causes Akira to apologize, but Aya just laughs it off. She is simply too happy to meet another one of her species in the city. Akira responds kindly, and Shizuka notices that his voice sounds happier than usual. As Akira entertains the client, Luna takes the opportunity to tease Shizuka, pointing out how obvious it is that she suddenly becomes self-conscious. Daichi tries to ease her worries by reasoning that Akira's reaction is normal, since his species is quite rare. However, it does not comfort her at all, as she points out how eager Akira seemed to meet her. In the meeting room, Aya explains that she has been accused of theft at work. A box filled with money went missing in the office, and since the security camera footage shows no one, she was immediately accused because she is invisible. Unfortunately, she cannot explain herself to the company president because he is currently hospitalized. The vice president, who is acting as their head boss, is very insistent that she is the one who stole the money. Kosuke brings up that it is difficult to prove Aya's alibi because she was somewhere else at the time the crime took place. However, since invisible people cannot be identified on camera, her alibi will be rejected. After hearing her story, Akira assures Aya that they will handle the case. The rest of the team listens in from outside the door, and Shizuka cannot help but feel bad for Aya. After a while, Kosuke and Akira visit Aya's company and meet the vice president, Gamaiki. He visibly sweats while speaking to them, clearly not having anticipated that Aya would hire both a lawyer and a detective. Akira politely asks Gamaiki for the CCTV footage of the crime scene. Gamaiki provides it, but begins sweating even more. Akira notes that there is no interaction visible during the time when the safe is opened and checked the following day. Gamaiki quickly interjects, stating that he suspects Aya because she can turn both herself and her clothes completely invisible. He suddenly notices that Akira has disappeared. Gamaiki's handkerchief lifts into the air and begins patting away his sweat, while Akira's voice can be heard as he straightens Gamaiki's tie. Akira reappears and explains that he was simply demonstrating how full invisibility works. Invisible people are still tangible, and the things they interact with will still move. He refers back to the safe and points out that it has not moved at all, making it impossible for Aya to be the culprit. Gamaiki continues to sweat profusely as he apologizes for the misunderstanding, explaining that he panicked when the money went missing. Kosuke then brings out his laptop and shows Gamaiki another video, one that was taken shortly after Gamaiki took over for the president. The footage shows him hurriedly depositing bills into an ATM. Kosuke shares his conclusion, stating that Gamaiki took the money himself and deposited it, so it would not be traced back to him. With an invisible employee in the office, he then placed the blame on Aya. Gamaiki pales when he is exposed and panics even more when he finally notices that the company president has arrived during their discussion. Gamaiki struggles to explain himself as the president scolds him and forces the truth out of him. Sometime later, Aya visits the agency to express her gratitude. Akira and Kosuke bow politely and accept her thanks. After she leaves, they turn to the rest of the team and thank them for carrying out a swift investigation before the accusations against their client escalate further. Luna and Daichi credit Shizuka for how quickly the case was handled, pointing out that she is the one who schedules everything. Shizuka panics at the sudden attention and apologizes for rushing the case without permission. She does not admit that she did so because she sensed how important the case was to Akira, especially from the anger in his voice when he first heard the story. Akira surprises her by thanking her and bowing in return. He then suggests that they take a company trip as a reward for all the good work they have done. Luna immediately latches onto the idea, proposing that they go camping in the mountains. Even Kosuke seems eager to join despite Daichi's protests. Akira quickly agrees to the suggestions, and Shizuka smiles as she notices that the tone of his voice has returned to normal. On the day of the trip, Luna and Shizuka rejoice at being surrounded by nature while the men are busy setting up camp. Akira asks aloud why Shizuka is wearing sunglasses, and she explains that they protect her eyes from stray branches. Kosuke assigns Shizuka the task of grinding coffee beans so she can help out a little. Seeing Luna struggles, Kosuke gives her a job by asking her to prepare the firewood. Akira notices that Kosuke is surprisingly skilled at camping and seems to genuinely enjoy it. Kosuke credits his fondness for camping to Daichi. As the group settles into the campsite, Akira invites Shizuka to take a walk around the area. She eagerly agrees, and soon they find themselves walking along a fenced path near the campsite. Shizuka enjoys the sounds of nature and the freshness of the air while Akira carefully guides her, making sure she does not get hurt on unfamiliar terrain. Shizuka remarks that she feels very safe with him, and Akira admits that he feels the same way. His words remind Shizuka of Akira's traumatic experience in the mountains, so she cautiously asks if being there is really okay for him. Akira admits that he felt some hesitation at first, but being with Shizuka makes him forget about it for the most part, and he feels safe beside her. He then spots a bench up ahead and suggests they take a short break. As they sit down, Shizuka confesses that she sometimes feels useless to him. Akira immediately reassures her, telling her that she's been a great help, especially during their most recent case. Shizuka explains that she rushed the investigation because it was unsettling to hear Akira sound genuinely angry. It made her imagine how devastated she would feel if Akira were ever accused of something similar. Realizing how emotional she sounds, she apologizes. Instead of dismissing her feelings, Akira leans closer and explains that historically, invisible people are often treated as prime suspects in many cases. Because of that, he is deeply grateful that Shizuka and the others acted quickly to clear Aya's name. He gently pulls Shizuka closer, causing her to stiffen in surprise. Akira chuckles softly at her reaction, earning him a mild scolding from her. With a fond smile, he lifts the sunglasses from her eyes and draws her in until their lips meet. Shizuka feels the gentle pressure against her lips and blurts out a question. Akira cheerfully confirms that he has just kissed her, earning a squeak from Shizuka as her face burns an even deeper shade of red. When Akira suggests they head back, Shizuka lightly tugs on his shirt and asks if they can spend a little more time together. Akira sits back down and pulls Shizuka closer once again. Later in the evening, Daichi and Akira sit by the campfire while Kosuke takes the opportunity to talk with the girls. He shares that he used to hate the mountains and gradually begins telling his story. He explains that he used to be overweight, which made it difficult for him to keep up with his classmates during a mountain climb. Feeling guilty, he insisted that his friends go on ahead since they were all heading in the same direction anyway. His friends continued forward while he kept moving uphill at his own slow pace. Soon, more and more students from his grade began passing him until he became dead last on the trail. As he looked up, he noticed Daichi walking only a short distance ahead. A wave of relief washed over him, knowing that he was not completely alone and that Daichi was someone he recognized from class. Kosuke continued following Daichi up the mountain, but eventually became too tired and decided to rest. While catching his breath, he noticed that Daichi had come back for him and was offering him a bottle of water. When Kosuke took it, Daichi picked up his backpack and started walking again. Kosuke tried to tell him that he could carry it himself, but Daichi only told him to hurry up. Eventually, the two of them reached the checkpoint where their grade was having lunch, both of them completely exhausted. As Daichi ate, Kosuke attempted to talk to him, but Daichi looked confused by his approach since they were not friends. Kosuke was baffled when Daichi explained that helping him felt like giving up his seat for an elderly person rather than something done out of friendship. Even so, Kosuke insisted that they eat together since it felt awkward to eat alone. When he sat beside Daichi, he quietly observed him. They had never spoken much in class, and Daichi was known for keeping to himself, which explains why he was still single despite being handsome. When he offered some of his lunch, Daichi didn't hesitate to ask for his chicken. When it was time to head home, they sat next to each other on the bus. Kosuke dozed off easily, and when he woke up, he saw Daichi sleeping as well, with his hand under Daichi's. He intended to slip his hand away, but instead decided to try holding Daichi's hand to see what it felt like. When he looked at Daichi, he noticed that he was red and looking at him. Daichi turned away, making Kosuke realize that he was not sleeping in the first place. Daichi also grasped his hand slightly, confusing Kosuke about the meaning of his actions. Kosuke concludes the story by saying that they somehow ended up dating afterward, as the girls gush over how adorable the story is. The next day, the group decides to swim and catch some fish by the river. Daichi comments on how Luna's swimsuit fits her, and Luna decides to insult his stomach in return. Meanwhile, Akira waits for Shizuka to finish changing. She apparently has trouble with her swimsuit, and since Luna is already by the river, she decides to ask Akira to help her. When Akira enters, he is stunned as he takes in Shizuka in her swimwear. After snapping out of his daze, he notices that one of the straps is caught under the frills of the clothing, so he helps her fix it. Once the swimwear is fixed, he admits that he finds Shizuka very adorable in it and insists that she wear the skirt that came with the set. When they arrive at the riverbank, Luna immediately gushes over how precious Shizuka looks. Shizuka and Akira enjoy the water by the edge while everyone else tries to catch fish. Using her bare hands, Luna manages to swipe fish onto the shore. Luna convinces Akira to try as well, while she entertains Shizuka by the shore. After several failed attempts, Akira decides to give up. Luna comments on how muscular Akira is, noticing how his clothes cling to his body after getting drenched. Shizuka blushes at this and tells Akira to take off his shirt so he will be more comfortable. Akira gets embarrassed and tries to explain why he cannot, but neither of the girls seems to understand how embarrassing it is for invisible people. Soon, Daichi tells Luna to help them catch more fish so they can cook them later. Akira decides to rest with Shizuka, and Shizuka shares that she does not like it when people uncover things about Akira. Akira realizes that Shizuka is a little jealous and gently caresses her ear to comfort her, but Luna interrupts them, telling them to be romantic somewhere else instead in front of everyone. On the trip home, Daichi drives while Kosuke fondly shares how much he loves him. He looks back and notices that everyone else is asleep. However, Akira admits that he is actually awake. Akira turns his gaze to Shizuka and shares that someday he wants to go on a trip with just her, though he understands that their relationship is still too new for that. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe so you won't miss new episode every week.